Hello. Hey Facebook. How you doing? That's bright. All right. I'm feeling like a black and white vibe today for some reason. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go black and white, or grey, I guess you could call it. Cool. All right. So very exciting stuff is happening. I've got an awesome announcement to make for you. Something really, really cool is coming up. So I've got to let you know about that. And I also wanted to chat with you first about the secret to fast results. So this could be something you're interested in, possibly. Secrets to fast results. Let me know. Is that interesting for you? Do you want to know about that? All right. Cool. So now when I'm talking about fast results, I'm going to mostly now be talking about when it comes to sort of health and fitness and weight loss and fat loss and that kind of thing, purely because it's, I mean, we all want fast results in everything, obviously, but I think in the health and fitness industry, it's one of the bigger, definitely bigger things that people always want results really fast, right? So now let me lead into this, first of all, by explaining a little bit the background to it, right? So when it comes to getting fast results, as you know, or as you may or may not know, you probably know, speed sells, basically. The health and fitness industry is a huge industry, and a big part of it is obviously the weight loss and fat loss area, which I guess you don't have to be a genius to figure out that a lot of the methods that people are using at the moment are probably not working because it's such a multi-billion-dollar industry, because it's not working, because people have to keep looking for ways to get fat loss and weight loss. And so I guess the other thing you probably won't be surprised to hear is that people are looking for fast results. And there's reasons for this. A lot of it is that when people decide that they need to change something, it's kind of very immediate and they kind of get really motivated in the moment, and they're kind of, if you think back to yourself or your friends or whoever that you see post up, that's it, starting Monday, going on a, clean eating, cutting out this, cutting out alcohol, cutting out sugar, going to get real healthy, going to get real fit, all that kind of stuff. It's a very sudden and very immediate sort of, I guess, feeling and I guess a motivation, and they feel really strongly about it in the moment. So they want to get started and they want to get results like yesterday, basically. So that easily feeds into what people are trying to sell them, right? So the health and fitness industry is very aware of this, and by health and fitness industry, I mean obviously the people that are trying to sell you the quick fixes, right? And they're very well aware of this, that this is what people look for, and therefore they're going to basically need to jump on something quick, right? And that's what, if you go onto Google and just look up quick, lose 5 kilos quickly, lose 10 kilos quickly, whatever it is, you will find heaps of stuff on there, because it's very popular. It's what people look for, right? They don't really tend to think in the long term. And even the people in the fitness industry that might be quite genuine and above board still will tend to use these kind of tactics. And I know I've used it in the past as well, to get people to kind of commit to something quickly, because they know that speed sells. Getting something out there quickly will sell, and it will get people results happening. And when people get results quickly, they will tend to be a little more motivated, although the staying power is probably not really there. And so those two things probably don't really surprise you, that A, the weight loss and the fat loss industry is a huge, huge business, and therefore there's a lot of information out there that's not very helpful, but people are jumping all over it and paying lots and lots of money for it because it sounds good in the moment and it sounds easy and it sounds like a quick fix, and that's what we all want. We want results fast. And also that when we do go looking for something, we tend to want it quickly. So anything that says is attached to basically lose a dress size in a week or lose a dress size in a month or whatever it is, that kind of stuff, it will get us interested very quickly, right? So when I talk about the secret to fast results, it's surprisingly enough, wait for it, I feel like I need to pause because this is a big, big point. All right, that's enough of a pause. So the secret to fast results is exactly the same as the secret to lasting long-term results. Let me explain what I mean, right? So when you think of fast results, what do you think of? You think of something pretty drastic, yes, of course. And you think of basically total commitment, just 100% nailing the food plan that they've given you, nailing the exercise, nailing every little, supplement and whatever it is. You think of just total commitment, total immersion, as crazy as it may seem in the moment. You're only going to do it for a little while, so just go all in, basically, right? That's what you think of for fast results when it comes to fat loss. And quite frankly, that is what it requires. Like I've, last year, if you were following me last year, you would have seen that towards the end of last year, I launched the 14-day pre-event slim down. And whilst that's not a quick fix diet by any means, it is purposely constructed for an event that you're planning for, and you just have 2 weeks to basically get as lean as you can in a short space of time. But it's by no means meant to be like a lasting fat loss or lasting weight loss solution. Then you know that results can happen quickly. Results can happen in a couple of weeks, in a month, whatever it is that you've got. If you go just all out, commit to it, it has to be pretty drastic, and that's what salespeople a lot of the time. What a lot of people don't realize is that what is required, the secret for lasting and long-term results, aka not just losing that first couple of kilos or 5 kilos or 10 kilos, but more to the point, losing all the weight, all the fat that you want to lose, and getting the shape that you want, and maintaining it so that you're not constantly going, up and down with putting the weight back on, and then basically being on a diet or off a diet your whole life, right? What most people don't realize is that the steps and the process for doing that is actually identical to the short term. That's the secret, that what you do, the stuff that you need to do for your short-term crash diet type results, for your fast results, is actually exactly the same as the stuff you need to do for your long-term results, with one caveat, right? The one difference is when you're doing it for fast results, the percentage, the amount, the intensity of change, the intensity of basically drasticness of it is going to need to be really high, right? So if you want those fast results, basically you're going to have to overhaul your entire diet, your entire training regime, your entire life for that short period of time to get those results. So it's not going to be convenient, it's not going to be fun, you're probably going to have to not go out for social events, all that kind of stuff. You're going to have to just basically go gung-ho for it, right? And that's, I would call close to maybe 100% effort where you're kind of going, yep, this is it. Just knuckle down and just get it done. For long-term results, it's actually exactly the same thing. You're still going to have to change your eating. You're still going to have to change your exercise. You're still going to have to make changes to your lifestyle. But the intensity, the percentage that's required is a lot less, right? So if you think of someone who wants to lose, say, 5 kilos in 2 weeks, that's pretty drastic, right? That's going to require them to basically just isolate themselves and go absolutely nuts for different reasons, or, there's many different ways. I'm not going to go into all the unhealthy ways to lose to lose weight fast, not even fat, just weight, and then just gain it all back. But there are ways to do that, but it's going to be very drastic, right? And that's going to basically entail your entire life changing for those 2 weeks, and you're not going to be able to do much else. Whereas someone who says, I want to lose 5 kilos in 3 months, the amount, the percentage that they actually need to change their entire life isn't going to be as drastic. It might be 50%, it might be 60%, I don't know. It really depends on the person as well, how much they want to change. But the point is, when they're changing it that much, it's going to be a lot more sustainable, because they're probably not going to cut out basically a whole heap of food so they're starving, which is something that you do when you do a really intense crash diet. They're also not going to be cutting out probably all of the yummy food and the social events that they enjoy, going out with their friends, going to the movies, whatever it is. They're not going to have to cut all of that out either. So that decreases the intensity and the percentages as well. Their exercise, they're not going to have to exercise for hours every single day. They can just maintain it, and they can just pick something a little bit more, what's the word? Balanced, I guess, that they can just start a routine where they're going to the gym or working out, whatever they're choosing to do 3 times a week, 4 times a week, right? And in terms of just their entire lifestyle, they're actually going to be able to maintain their lifestyle. They're going to be able to maintain going out and having fun with their friends and going to events and coming home and having something to eat, whatever it is, right? It's just a lot more manageable. It's a lot more sustainable because they've given themselves that 3 months. They don't need to make as many drastic changes all in one go, right? And so in reality, it's exactly the same. In reality, the fast results and the tactics that you use to do that are exactly the same as the ones that you use when you've got more of a long-term goal. However, it's just an intensity thing. It is just a game of numbers and a game of percentages of how much you need to change, how drastically you need to change to get those results. It's just as simple as that, right? So when people often look for basically the fast results, right? And so they want to get lean really fast or lose fat really fast, whatever it is. They go really, really intense. They increase the intensity. The percentage is really high for their adherence and how much they've actually had to change their life. But the problem with that kind of intensity is if they don't actually want to maintain that, and most people don't, then there is going to be the backlash afterwards, what most people call the rebound, which is, when you get enough of this diet or you go through the entire diet, if it's just 3 or 4 weeks or something and you actually manage to get through it, at the end of it, you're going to be fucking over it. You're going to just be done. Like you're going to straight away rebound back to where you were because you've now missed out on all these social events. You haven't had a drink. You haven't had a cheat meal. You haven't had a pizza. You haven't had this. You haven't had a day off gym. All this stuff that's going to pile up because it's not actually what you want to do long term, and you're just going to fall off and rebound and go hard in the opposite direction, basically. Put the weight back on and then start again, right? And you know that this is very common. I've done this for years. I did this for years myself, and I know many, many people that still do this. Many, I'm going to say thousands, millions even, because it's a natural sort of occurrence that we want results fast. We want them right now. And so we will do whatever it takes to get them while the motivation lasts. And then, God forbid, it goes away. And we just fall back into old patterns because we didn't actually adjust our lifestyle in any sustainable way. All that we did was basically, it's kind of like putting on a whole different persona for a few weeks, right? Pretending you're someone else for a few weeks. Yeah, it'll work for that period of time, but eventually the real you is going to start to show up. Eventually, the real you that wants a balanced lifestyle of what you're eating, how you're exercising, and that wants something other than just basically fat loss as your only emotion and your only feeling and your only thought, that person's going to come back, and that person's going to come back hard because they're kind of over it, right? So let me just have a drink. So when I talk about this secret, it's exactly the same. And now that you know this secret, the joy is that this comes down to you and your choice now of how you want to actually make it work, right? So by all means, you can go the 100% gung-ho route for 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it is, lose the fat and then rebound if you want. You can also go the 30, 40% route where you're basically not really going to change much and you're lucky if you lose a bit of fat this year, right? And that's kind of you just saying, oh, that's like a lot of people that don't really have a plan. They just come to it, go, oh, yeah, I want to lose some fat, so I'm just going to try and eat a bit healthier and that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean anything. Like they actually have no idea what that means to them. They just think it sounds good and that, maybe magically, if the stars align, that'll actually do something. And hey, look, maybe it will. Good luck with that. I've yet to see that really do anything for anyone. But hey, you could be the exception, right? Just like he's just not that into you, right? You might be the exception. You might be that one. In which case, woo, good for you. You've changed the whole system. But for the most part, you're not going to be the one. And I wasn't the one. Not a lot of people are the one in terms of basically going against every single thing that works and just flipping it on its head. By all means, I'm all for finding different ways to make it work, and that is definitely what I'm about. I do not like putting people on these crash diets and I refuse to. It's not that I don't like to, I refuse to put people on crash diets and really gung-ho type things, because I just know it doesn't work. It doesn't last, and I absolutely morally and ethically refuse to do it. If you want to, I'm not going to stop you. I mean, for sure, if you're really, really committed and that's just what you want to do, well, that's your choice. You're your own person, right? So I'm definitely not going to stop you from doing it, but I am going to advise you of what is most likely going to happen following this. And then it's, as with anything, it's always comes down to us, always comes down to our choice, what we want to make, right? Always. Responsibility is always with us. So this is why what I have now, and by now I mean the last sort of few years, shifted from, because I did used to be very much about the clean eating. And so when people wanted to, make a weight loss change, make a fat loss change, I did used to basically recommend, okay, yeah, you should be eating, more nutritious foods, cleaner foods, that kind of stuff. And I could just, even if their face didn't fall, I could see the look on the people's faces and on my clients' faces when I said it to them. And it was exactly right, and exactly what I now understand completely, which is just, this isn't sustainable. This is little Angel Anna talking, which, by the way, back then was not Angel whatsoever, because that was when I was still binge eating. So nobody really knew about that. The fact that here I was talking about clean eating and being such a good girl and everything, when really I was stuffing my face with everything I could find on a daily basis. But I could tell from the look on their face, and more to the point, my experience, the fact that I wasn't handling it well, that there has to be an individuality to it. There has to be a way that every individual can make their own decisions for what works for them, for what will get them the results they want, and in a way that is sustainable, in a way that they don't need to basically be on and off a diet for the rest of their life. Yes, of course, there's going to be times when you might be a little more slack, a little less slack, whatever it is, but you're essentially maintaining and sustaining a way of eating that helps you get to your goals. It's as simple as that. If your goals are fat loss, then you're going to eat accordingly to those goals until you've lost the fat that you want to lose, and then you want to do maintenance. You're going to eat accordingly so that you can maintain. And it's just, it's not meant to be that hard. That's the thing. But unfortunately, for most of the time, right, we would prefer to do a quick fix. It doesn't matter how many times we do it. It doesn't matter how much time and energy we waste on it, and money as well. Like, it's not called a multi-billion-dollar business for no reason. People spend copious amounts of money on quick fixes. Copious. But we ignore all of that in the moment because we're like, oh yeah, but it's only like $100 right now. So I'll get it now and do it for 2 weeks, and then I'll go buy the next $100 program quick fix, right? But we forget about that in the moment. We forget about how it adds up to actually be getting all of these quick fixes one after the other, and the cleanse and the juice and the whatever it is. We excuse it really easily at the time because we're like, yeah, but it's going to get us real results really fast. And we tend to put off the stuff that, may be more expensive or maybe even the same price or whatever it is at the time that will get us the results we want, and keep them there for the long term, because as humans, we love instant gratification. It's something that validates us straight away, right? So when you're a kid, you do something good, your mum gives you a reward straight away. You yell at someone that, was mean to you, you feel better. It's all about instant gratification. It's how we're primed. It's how we grow up, right? But part of being an adult is learning to step away from that instant gratification and just from that instant ability to actually make a decision based on your long-term result that you want, as opposed to the instant gratification. And that kind of, that really separates the kids from the adults. Like, there's a lot of those funny memes going around, look at me adulting and can adult and all that kind of stuff. And it's fantastic and it's funny and everything, and I absolutely understand it. However, it does sort of shine a real point on, well, what does make us an adult? What makes us actually responsible for ourselves? And I believe it is that ability to step away from instant gratification as your main fuel and energy and motivational source, and be able to actually look into the long term and commit to things in the long term to get there, as opposed to just commit to things right this second that will get you something right this second, right? And I think you're pretty well aware of this in terms of many areas of your life, whether it's, your career, the way that you had to study for that, or the way that you had to work your way up from a certain level, whether it's your relationship. Obviously, you don't, well, unless you're on that married show, unless you're on that, then, in general, you understand that you have to get to know the person, you have to date them. Once you've dated them, then you can, what can you do? Well, then you can get engaged or get married or whatever the process is that you want to go through. But you understand that you're not going to meet a person in the moment and be like, yeah, cool, we need to get married right now. I barely know you, just because I feel really, really instant gratification from seeing you right now and you're amazing right now. I'm probably not going to be able to decide if long-term this is going to be a good idea, right? So we understand that. We understand that on so many levels, with so many different things. But for some reason, when it comes to fat loss and weight loss, our logical side, the stuff that we really understand how things work, gets overridden by basically that momentary, but this says it's going to get me these results really fast, right? So this is why, after moving forward from doing, the whole, actually I'm going to change, might change the light now. I'm over black and white. Let's do that. That's really bright. I like that. All right, let's do this for the bright part, okay? So that's why, after many, many years of basically telling people, oh yeah, you have to do this, you have to do that. Wow, that's so bright now. That this is the only way to get results, yada, 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 and clean eating and blah, blah, blah. It was only after I actually got honest with myself, right, and realized that, well, this isn't working. It's not working for me. It's not working for my clients, or the ones that it is working for are probably turning out to be a little bit like me and having, their actual binges on the side without telling me, because they feel ashamed, right? They feel guilty because they think that I'm perfect. And that was when I realized, well, everybody's different. And the thing that is just grossly lacking in this industry and in just the general public and the general media is anyone stepping up to say, take some fucking responsibility for your own actions, for your own health. Stop relying on someone else to tell you, here's your diet plan, here's how you should eat. And I'm going to just lump nutritionists and dietitians into this as well. For sure, they have the knowledge and the experience, well, maybe not the experience until they've actually had the experience, but the knowledge and the learning, basically, to be able to deal with a lot of different scenarios, and that they definitely have a much higher knowledge of nutrition than I do, absolutely. But still, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if they have more knowledge and they can write out a plan. That's just a glorified way of basically doing something that's better for the person. It sure as hell is better than some random person who barely speaks English posting up a 2-week diet on the internet and everyone going crazy for it, when realistically it doesn't mean anything. For sure, a dietitian or a nutritionist is going to give you something that's actually better for you, but the implementation is the problem. The fact that people don't really understand why they're doing it, they don't really understand how they're doing it, and they don't really understand how this is going to work long term, because they might look at the plan and go, oh yeah, this is cool, I can do this, I can eat like this, and then you go, yeah, but for how long? Here's your weekly plan, Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday, here's your eating. That's great. And you look at it now and you're like, yeah, that's fine. In a month's time, are you still going to be wanting to do this Monday to Friday, Saturday to Sunday? Are you still going to want to do this? No, of course not. There is just such a lack of anyone actually teaching people about how to listen to their own bodies and how to actually eat that in a way that suits them and works for them, and actually giving them the knowledge to do it themselves, as opposed to constantly be relying. Because unless you just want to go to a nutritionist and basically have them write you out a new diet plan every month for the rest of your life, and you have absolutely no control of it otherwise, in terms of your social events and in terms of your just life, basically, well, then go for it if that's what works for you. But I know that for most people, that doesn't work. It just doesn't, plain and simple. Having someone else give you an eating plan will only last as long as you do that eating plan. And our lives are not that structured. Our lives are not designed to be eating the same thing every single day for the rest of our lives. For sure, we may stick to the same-ish type stuff, but there's got to be some leeway. And the leeway comes from the individual and from the individual preferences, right? So this is where I bring you up to my awesome secret announcement that I hinted at this morning, right? So you may have seen I was going to be running a If It Fits Your Macros, IIFYM, and flexible dieting workshop that was going to be run in Melbourne. Now, we've had a lot of issues with trying to coordinate schedules and all that kind of stuff with a lot of the people that wanted to do it. And I know there was a lot of people as well outside of Melbourne who were bummed that they couldn't come and do here the workshop live in person in Melbourne. So I've decided to do the If It Fits Your Macros workshop as an online event, right? So this means, doesn't matter where you are, it's going to be online. So how it's going to work is it's going to be through a private Facebook group. Now, haven't actually worked out. I should probably do a sales page for it. I'll do that later. Yes, I'll do it through a sales page to make it easy for you. But it'll be through a private Facebook group, right? And so on that group, we're going to run the live webinar. It's going to be on Sunday, the 5th of March at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Melbourne time. So that's Australian Eastern Standard Time. You can check that, whatever it is in your time zone. So it's going to be about 4 till 6 p.m. roughly. It may run over, like it really depends on the day. I don't like to lock it like I do. I'm giving you a general time, but if there's more stuff that we want to get through and people have questions, then I'm happy to stay on and keep talking and keep going through it, right? So the workshop's going to be on Sunday, the 5th of March, 4 till 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be through a private Facebook group page. And I'm going to do it through a live stream just like this, right? So I'm going to go through all the content. You're going to get the PDF booklet as well, so that while you're watching it, you can go through the booklet. You can make your notes as you go. Obviously, during a live stream, you can also pop questions in. So you can ask me anything you want as we're going through, and I'll answer the questions as well. Now, if you can't make it, if that time doesn't suit you, that's okay, because it's actually going to be replayed. So once it's actually finished, the replay will go up in that group, so you can watch it. You know, if you happen to be busy that Sunday evening, or you're just on a funny time zone somewhere else, that's fine. You can just go straight back on and watch the replay at your own time, whenever suits you. And obviously, if you're on the live stream as well, you can go back and watch the replay as many times as you need. The other bonus that I've decided to put in is because it's not going to be obviously in person, and I do want to give you guys the assistance to actually be able to plan this eating yourself. So I'll explain in a sec how this works. But because I want to give you that support and that assistance as well, I'm actually going to keep that Facebook page, Facebook group open for another week. And I'll keep it open for longer than that. But for that week, I'm actually going to give you a whole 7 days of support from me. So any questions that you have from your first week as you're trying to implement it, as you're working out what you're doing, you can just ask me in the Facebook group and I'll be able to respond and support you in that way. So that's just a bonus that I've put in there to help with that. After that first week, I will make sure that the webinar is still, or the replay of the live stream is still available for you. I'll upload it to Vimeo or something like that, and you can keep watching it as many times as you want. You'll have lifetime access to it for all the information. And I think, yes, I have decided earlier today I'm going to do a VIP option as well. So this is super cool, especially because when it comes to obviously learning how to actually eat on your own and how to structure your own eating, it can take a little bit of a learning curve, right? So I've decided to do a VIP option. So after that week, after the live stream and support, if you want another 3 weeks, 3 weeks of support, again, in the Facebook group, asking me questions, getting help, all that kind of stuff, so you can keep changing up your diet plan and ask me things as you work them out, get me to check over things, whatever you need basically, so that you have someone to bounce all of this off when you get confused, if you get confused. So for another 3 weeks, there's going to be that VIP option, $75, and that keeps you in that group for the 3 weeks extra. So you basically get a whole month in total of just ongoing support while you work all of this out, while you get really comfortable with it. You'll have me there to ask any questions, explain anything for you. If there's something that's obviously bugging quite a few people, I might even do an extra live stream on there to answer it. And then you can watch that and you can watch the replay. So it's going to be whatever works. I'm going to be there to support you. So that's definitely a really good option to consider as well. Okay. Now, let me quickly explain. Now, I've done a live stream before about the If It Fits Your Macro workshop where I kind of explained it. So I'll put the, like the link in below so you can actually watch that live stream. Obviously, ignore the part about it being in Melbourne because this is going to be online now. But it'll explain the actual start of it. But the part that I want to clarify for you is that If It Fits Your Macros is a way of eating where you get to eat whatever you want, right? So you can eat the junk food that you like. If you enjoy, having a donut or having a chocolate or having an alcohol, that's another one. You can have alcohol as part of this. You can have literally anything. Like, there's no point me listing it because when I say you can eat anything, I mean anything that has a nutritional value, right? So let me probably clarify. I don't mean like if you're eating paper or you're eating hair. That's not what this is about. However, if you're eating normal food, right, you can eat anything, right? And the point of it is that you can maintain and you can get to your goals regardless of what you eat. So if your goal is fat loss, yes, you can do this still eating some chocolate, some ice cream, some wine, whatever it is. You can still get that goal of fat loss by eating that stuff just as much as you can, doing your clean eating chicken and broccoli and rice 3 times a day, right? But it's a hell of a lot more fun, and more to the point, it's a hell of a lot more sustainable. So you can get to your goal and you can keep it and you can keep going. And so you lose the fat and then you work for your maintenance, right? And for your maintenance, you're going to be able to eat a lot more food. But again, you haven't cut out any food to get there in the first place, which is the point of it. And it's actually teaching you how to construct your own eating plan, how to construct your own eating way, basically. So whilst at the beginning, there's definitely a learning curve, and this is why I'm going to do the workshop, and then I'm going to give you that week of support plus the VIP option of another 3 weeks as well, because there is a learning curve. Because guess what? You're basically getting taught how to eat for your goals for the rest of your life. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a learning curve to that, right? But it sure as hell beats yo-yoing and just going from crash diet to off the diet to crash diet for the rest of your life. Surely it beats that, especially when you know that you can actually eat anything. So if in the future you decide to be vegan, or you decide to just eat paleo, or you figure out that you're gluten intolerant or dairy intolerant or whatever it is, you can still eat according to the If It Fits Your Macros way quite easily. You can maintain that, and it doesn't matter what you're choosing to eat, what actual food you're basing it on. You just got to find a way for it to fit your macros. And your macros, just as a quick side note, is your proteins, your fats, and your carbohydrates, right? So again, I'm going to pop the link in below once I find it for where I actually explain a little bit more about what If It Fits Your Macros is. But I wanted to explain that part to you mostly today, because that's the clincher, is that this isn't just giving you a new diet plan. This isn't giving you a new, cut this out and eat this and only eat this and here's your 7-day plan and whatever. This is actually teaching you how to eat for your goals, for the long term, so that you get to your goals without feeling like you're missing out, without feeling like you're just over it and you're on a diet and you can't wait to get off it. You will not feel like you're on a diet because you're eating what you want, and what you want can fit, and you can still get to your goals. A lot easier and a lot better. So remember what I said at the start of this live stream, right? The secret to fast results is exactly the same as the secret to long-term results. The difference here is that you have an opportunity to actually learn the secret for the long-term results and how you can do it and maintain it, because a lot of us just don't know how to eat, just don't know how to actually eat to fuel ourselves. We've gotten really bad at actually listening to our bodies and what it wants. So when I say you can eat anything, I mean literally you can eat anything. However, it's your body, and the other part that's going to come into this is actually learning to listen to your body and what it wants, and being able to say, you know what, I don't feel very good with a lot of dairy. I may not be intolerant, for example. I may not be allergic to it, but I may have a slight intolerance. And so I'll work that around and work it out as I go. But you have that option of being able to work that out, as opposed to having to go off some diet plan that someone gave you that you then work out you A, hate, B, is not sustainable because it's so restrictive, and C, oh hey, it's got a hell of a lot of dairy and I've just realized I'm a bit dairy intolerant, right? This is actually teaching you how to eat, how to construct your own eating plan for yourself forever. So you can actually do it over and over and over and keep getting the results you want, keep getting the body that you want, the health, the fitness, everything that comes with it, without feeling like you're missing out, right? So that is super, super exciting. I'm going to have to get that sales page up for you today. But if you want to know about it, if you want to hear about it straight away, pop a comment in below. Just pop a yes or yes, hell yes. Let's do hell yes. So pop a hell yes down below and I'll make sure that you find out as soon as that's up. And I will let you know once that's available. So that'll be Sunday, 5th of March, 4 till 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. But like I said, remember there's going to be the replay available straight away. So even if you can't tune in for the live one, you can rewatch it as soon as you want, as soon as it's convenient for you. And you're going to have that week of support in the Facebook group included as well. So you can actually ask me any questions for a full week, as well as that VIP option as well. All right, cool. So I had better get to it so I can get this up and running and get this open for you guys so you can jump on and secure your spot. And I will see you guys soon. Let me know if you have any questions in regards to anything that I've spoken about today, basically, but especially the workshop. If you have any questions, just pop them down below. I'll make sure I check back later. All right, have a beautiful Sunday. Bye.